Good day, everyone. I'm Koyade, and we'll start today's webinar. As usual, we talk about ELECTROATOM and its uniqueness. We talk about powering of the world by using free energy. So I'll start by by sharing my screen, and there is a slide for today's webinar. So I'll be sharing my screen in a minute. Okay. So just let me know if you could see my screen. So good day once again, everyone. Uh, Today we'll be discussing the electroatom technology and the theory of electricity generation. So the first slide, in the beginning, there was nothing except for the energy that wants to be manifested materially. So, and the first element of the energy that was manifested materially, it is said in the slide here, a single charge represents an electroneutral electroatom encompassing various forms, such as electrofield, electrosubstance, electrowave, and electrochemical elements under specific conditions. It maintains a minimal uniform distributed electricity density, taking the shape of a spherical ball. So the energy that was that was manifested materially, the first element in it, it's a single charge that represents electroneutral atom. That's the charges. Does neither has a positive nor a negative. It's just electroneutral, and the representation is in form of this sphere, this ball that is being displayed here. So, and it's here there, when two single charges interact, they create a third field. So, when the field, when two charges, which is neither negative or carries a positive charge, when they interact, they produce a third field. So, and when single charges interact, they lead to the formation of new substance such as carbon, lithium, mercury, uranium, and others. So when single charges interact with each other, they give birth to a third field, which could be which could be either carbon, it could be lithium, it could be mercury, it could be uranium, and others. So the free energy, our primary objective in the autonomous powder power plant is to investigate and observe how single charge can be extracted from substance, specifically focusing on generating electricity from powder, epoxy, and which has to do with friction and electromagnetic uh, field of the earth. So in our new innovation, what we are taking into consideration is the generation of electricity from powder, which is epoxy, and the powder, the charge will be restored using the earth's electromagnetic field. That's what we are using. So the powder is going to, because we are creating a generator plant, which is going to be in a closed loop and it's just going to run mainly on powder. And you know, powder is just like the single charges that was highlighted above, that it has neither negative or positive, but due to the electromagnetic field of the earth, you'll be able to restore the charges back and you'll be able to use it over and over. So what is friction in terms of electricity generation? You know, we said it here that we are focusing on okay, I'm coming. I would like to show you that. So we are focusing on using electromagnetic field of the earth and friction to restore our powder back to its 5% has been estimated, because the closed loop that we're building is generator plants that runs mainly on powder, and you'll be able to use the powder for a duration of 6 to 8 months without you refilling it or sprinkling the powder. So you have free electricity in your house, in your household, in your establishments, in your factory for 6 to 8 months non-stop. And this cannot be possible without we talking about friction and electromagnetic field of the earth, because that's what we are using for the generation of the electricity. So what is friction in terms of electricity generation? So in the context of electricity generation, friction generally refers to the resistance encountered when objects or materials move against each other. So friction occurs when objects or material moves against each other. So, and friction is typically considered a mechanism phenomenon. It can impact electrical generation system in few ways. So what are the ways in which friction can uh can impact electrical generation? Because it's been said that friction occurs when two objects moves against each other. So more like you snap. So it's a friction. The friction occurs during that time too. So we have the mechanical friction of in generators. So in traditional electricity generation, e.g. using turbine and generator, mechanical friction occurs in the moving parts like shaft, the bearing, and other rotating components. So this friction leads to energy losses, converting some of the mechanical energy into heat rather than electricity, reducing overall efficiency. So I'm trying to tell you about the comparison of the mechanical friction in generator, the local generator that we use, and in comparison with the triboelectric effect. So it's on the traditional electricity generation, um, the friction that occurs in the mechanical friction is due to moving parts like shaft, the bearing, and other rotating components. And due to this process, the friction that occurs leads to energy loss and converting some of the mechanical energy into heat rather than electricity. So more like our traditional generator, that after a while it gets hot and it brings out smokes. So the next one, in comparison to the mechanical friction in generators, we have the triboelectric effect. So in some modern forms of electricity generation, like triboelectric um, nano generator, the tanks, friction plays a direct role in generating electricity. When two materials are rubbed against each other, so the triboelectric effect occurs when two materials are rubbed against uh, each other, they transfer charges from one to the another. So when you rub those material against each other in the triboelectric effect, they transfer their charges. They transfer the charges to each other. So in when they are transferring the charges to each other, it creates a voltage difference. So and this phenomenon, known as triboelectric effect, can be harnessed to generate small amounts of electricity from friction. So the tribal effect occurs when you rub two materials against each other, they transfer the charges to each other, which causes which is known which causes a voltage difference, and the phenomenon known is known as the tribal effect. And the electricity generated from this effect is very little, because it's just you rub them. It's not you snap them or they pass through each other. You just rub them, and the charge from one another is being transferred into the other, vice versa. So the electricity generated during this effect is very low. And so, in summary, to what friction is, friction in traditional system causes efficiency loss. So, why in specific technologies like tank, which is the tribal effect, it can be a useful way to generate electricity. So, the next slide here is the revolutionizing energy. So, how the new autonomous power plants redefines traditional electricity generation. So I told you that our new innovation is based on powder or epoxy, which is estimated to run non-stop to generate electricity to your house, to your micro districts, to to your establishment, your industry for 8 to 6 months non-stop. So it depends on the usage. That's how the electricity is going to last, but it lasts nothing more than 8 to 6 months. So the autonomous powder plant differs from traditional electricity generation system primarily in its use of epoxy as a power source rather than relying on mechanical friction or conventional energy input. So uh, our innovation relies on powder rather than the traditional means of generating electricity. And we also make use of friction, as been stated above, and also we also make use of the electromagnetic field of the Earth. So the key differences that make us different from the traditional means. The first one is the epoxy as a as a power source. Okay, please. So unlike traditional power plants that depends on mechanical turbines or chemical reaction, like combustion or nuclear reaction, the autonomous plants utilize epoxy. We are using powder as our power source, and in some capacity to generate power. The exact mechanism behind this is unique, as epoxy is not typically seen as a direct energy source in conventional power system. So what differs us from the traditional means is we are making use of epoxy as our own power source. We are running on mainly powder, which is eco-friendly, it's smokeless, and it makes no noise, and it's compatible in all weather. So the autonomous functionality. So the powder plant is described as autonomous, implying that the powder plant operates with minimal human intervention, possibly through smart technology or automated system. This could involve advanced regulation, maintenance, optimization processes that cannot be found in most traditional power plants, which requires regular oversight. So the autonomous functionality in our innovation works because our power plant can work in seclusion. Once it's been powered the first time, you can just leave it and it's going to work without any human intervention. It's working seclusion, it's working in isolation, and your electricity is going to run non-stop. So the third on the list that differs us from the traditional means, we have no resilience on mechanical friction. So since the system does not rely on moving parts like turbines or generator, it eliminates mechanical friction losses typical in traditional energy system. So this makes it potentially more efficient as there are fewer energy losses due to resistance in moving parts. So what differs us is also we don't depend on the mechanical friction because, as been stated, the mechanical friction, the charge is being generated, also gets lost on the during the process when you are using your generator. It comes as a smoke, it comes as any other way. But in our home, the power that we are using is going to be used over and over again. So we don't rely on mechanical factors at all. So the fourth on the list here is the concept of using powder or epoxy for energy generation likely refers to some novel um, chemical, electrochemical, or physical process that differs from typical sorry, that differs, okay, that differs from typical method, burning fossil fuel or using wind turbine. This approach represents an alternative energy model that may reduce dependency on conventional fuel and mechanics. So the innovation energy generation method differs to the traditional means because we don't depend on wind, we don't need turbines, we don't need fossil fuel to generate electricity. We are making use of something that is really of the chart, and it's something that we've worked because we've done an experimental sample and it's worked. We use ordinary wheat flour to generate electricity then, and we're able to generate a little amount then. So I'll be moving on to the next slide. Okay. So in summary, the autonomous power plant is distinct due to its resilience on epoxy as a power source and its closed loop. I said it earlier, our innovation is reusable. It's not the powder, it's not what can be disposed of. You use it as the estimated amount, and it's going to generate your electricity non-stop. You don't have to pay for any bills, everything will be sorted. So the autonomous power plant is distinct due to its resilience on epoxy as a power source and its closed loop. The autonomous nature. That's the autonomous nature means the isolation part of it because it would work without any human intervention. It works in isolation and it's going to work really, really good. And its avoidance of mechanical friction for energy generation. So position it as an innovative and potentially more efficient system than traditional methods. So we we don't depend on mechanical friction because we know that mechanical friction allows energy losses and the charges generated will not be able to serve us. So we are using just the friction and the electromagnetic field of the head. So we'll be able to we'll be able to recharge our powder back to 85% because it's going to be in a closed loop. You don't need to sprinkle the powder. Everything is just going to work in isolation without any human intervention. And what we did, what we are innovating is going to position a new, innovative, and potential more efficient system than traditional method because this our plant these our plants cannot be overemphasized. It can be used virtually in everywhere. It fits everywhere in hospitals, in household, in factory, in microdistrict, and also in mining for those that are mining cryptocurrency because we knows that the electricity, the crypto, crypto, crypto mining use is really, really high. So with this generator plant, you'll be able to mine non-stop, be able to mine 24/7. And most especially the powder is a cheap product. It will be made available once we assemble the parts and we are going to also show that. So I think this we've come to the end of the slide for today. And before we round up for today, please, I would like to ask one or two questions. So for me to know that you actually understand everything we discussed so far. So thank you for your time. So are you all with me? Is there any question?
I'm with you, Mr. Koyade. There's no question so far. Thank you.
Okay. That's good. Okay, that's good. In the absence of no question, I would like to ask you, okay, what did we say? What did I explain that we are going to be making use in our new innovation? I said some two basic stuff that we are going to be using. Yeah, please. Do you? So I want to make sure that we are all on the same page here. So what do we need to restore our powder back to 85%? I think that should be the exact question to ask. Okay. In the absence of no response to that, we to restore our powder back to 85%. The autonomous powder plant is a closed loop generator. So to restore it back to 85%, we are making use of major two major things here. So the first one, we are making use of the friction, and the second one is the electromagnetic field of the head. So that means once the generator is being assembled, there will be let me see, there will be a pipe, or let me say there will be a channel that is going to lead to the earth. So we are making use of the powder, which is going to be the power source. Then the friction is going to work of it's going to go a very long way in the electricity generation in our plants, and also the electromagnetic field of the earth's surface. So, and they are basically the two type of friction that was explained earlier, which is the mechanical friction in generator and the tribal electric effect, which is just the tribal effect. It means just rubbing two objects together and they both transfer in charges to each other. So that's what happened. And the mechanical one, for those that are just joining. And for the mechanical friction, the friction, well, okay. The mechanical friction occurs in moving parts like shaft, the bearing, and other rotating components. So this friction leads to energy losses, converting some of the mechanical energy into heat rather than electricity. So, the moving of shafts and bearing and other rotating components leads to energy loss in the mechanical friction in generator, because once being rubbed against each other, once being moved, it's just, instead for the electricity or the charges to be get, it's just going to just pass out as heat rather than you having your electricity and saving the cost uh of your fuel or your fossil. So I think this this is where we are going to be drawing the curtain for today. So thank you so much for your time. See you next week. And also, we are going to be having another presentation, another webinar on Friday. So I will discuss to you the stages that we are in uh, in our project, and you'll be able to see everything that we've achieved and be able to know more. Thank you so much for your time. Take care. Bye.